Excellent.
Darren, how are you?
Very well, mate.
Good. Listen. I'm a bit of a colour man myself, so obviously I called myself Mr. Purple. I own Purple Patch Consulting,
Love
and
it.
everything about you is bright orange there. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not sure the orange and purple clash. Is
I don't know. They're okay. I'm on brand today. You see, I've got my orange and black setup here, which is in sync with my logo. So I'm kind of on brand. I'm trying to keep my my colours on brand.
Good on you. Well, I don't think we clash. I'm sure someone else might have an opinion on it. But listen, today is the King's birthday, which sounds very strange to say it.
Yes, it is.
And obviously for the Queen's birthdays prior, I'm from UK, and when I arrived here, it's quite unique having a day off, and it is a holiday. It caught me out a couple of times actually.
Yeah.
It's nice to celebrate, but on that basis, thank you very much for your time on a day off as well.
My pleasure.
So, but anyway, I don't know too much about you. I don't know if whoever's going to be listening to this knows much about you. So without further ado, why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you?
Yeah, sure, man. So obviously my name's Darren Saul. I've been in the recruitment space for nearly 25 years now. Been an IT recruiter for nearly 25 years at the end of the year. So it's crazy how time flies. A lot of work in IT. That's my specialty. But I also do a lot of other work in some side hustles of mine in podcasting and photography and a few other bits and pieces. But recruitment's my main gig, my main bread and butter, and still love it after so many years.
Well, listen, I have to commend you because I'm not smiling as much as you, and I've done less of a tenure in recruitment than you have. So you have to tell me what the secret ingredient is, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? I love talking to people. I love getting on podcasts. I love chatting with people. I love people in general. So, why not? You're going to be present and smile and be happy. And, you're always going to learn and do something, and you're going to get something out of everything you do.
True. So tell me then. So it was a few moons ago now. But what was your trigger event that got you into recruitment?
Yes. Good old recruitment story. Everybody has one.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, I was working as a pharmaceutical rep. I was working for Merck Sharp and Dohme, which is a very famous American pharmaceutical company. And I was there for like 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit less. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm looking for my next challenge. And my brother actually many times in my career says, oh, what about this? What about that? And he said to me, you know what? Why don't you try recruitment? We've both been to recruiters for, in different recruitment processes over the years. And I thought, you know what? That sounds like a fun job. I didn't know too much about it, obviously. Said we're dealing with people, we're talking to people, we're interviewing. What the hell? So I started working my way towards finding work in recruitment agencies that specialize in pharmaceuticals. And I got close, but I didn't actually land a job. And then finally I found a little magazine for all the people that have been around, back in the day like me. When you take the train, you used to have a place called the 9 to 5 magazine that they used to hand out. And there was a little ad that said, OU Norman, OUN, which is the first company that I ever worked in, looking for recruiters, no experience needed, we'll train you. I answered the ad and here we are.
There we are. And there is also always that story. You're quite right. I do believe though, and I've never seen 9 till 5.
Yep.
Maybe there's a copyright infringement for Dolly Parton. That's false advertising for recruitment.
That's right.
It's like a sick joke. 9 to 5. Who works in part-time hours?
That's right. Look at us. We're doing this on a public holiday. What's 9 to 5?
Yeah, we're still smiling. We must be gluttons for punishment.
Love it.
So you've been doing recruitment, and that was in Sydney, or
in Sydney? Yeah. So I've always been in Sydney, but nowadays with the technology being so good and with Zoom and all that, I work Australia-wide.
Yeah, cool. And what would you say have been the biggest changes in the recruitment industry since you've been in it?
Definitely the technology, for sure. I mean, when I started, we had one fax machine in the middle of the room, in the middle of the office, and we were always fighting for who's going to use that fax machine to send resumes. And then even possibly before that, we were couriering resumes. I remember the bikes. There were bikes all over the city, couriering stuff all around the place. Or we used to go and hand deliver them. So look how far we've come now. Like it's a totally new world. Technology has made everything way different.
It's interesting you say that. So when I started the recruitment in Scotland in the middle of the
Wow.
GFC,
There you go.
and I did well. Excuse me. And it was all paper CVs. You're quite right. There's queues of people every morning at the branch coming in, high street name, and they'd bring in these paper CVs, and it was all muck this or mac that. So you got like the alphabet separators. The M was just packed. I had that many M's. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
And I remember speaking to the managing director of that international firm.
Yep.
Okay. We had I can't remember the name of their one. They had a CRM which punched the details in, probably mostly used for payroll, I would say.
Yep.
Quite clunky, but effective. And I said to him, listen, don't you think it'd be a good idea if we could actually have the CV in the CRM?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I said, logistically, it doesn't work here.
Yep.
I can't keep just taking these CVs and booking a client meeting to do what I need to do. Surely this is the way forward. And he laughed it off. He goes, you know what? That would never happen. CV's always been on paper, always will be. And besides, even if it did change, we can't afford it because it would have to change the whole CRM.
There you go.
And that wasn't that long ago.
No, look at us now. We're interviewing on Zoom. We're sending resumes and attaching resumes. Who knows what else we're going to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years.
But this is the thing. Okay, so I'm going to challenge you here. Okay, so we've got the resume as it is, and we can do video interviews, all these wonderful things. Okay, but the resume still holds its place. Okay, it seems to have sort of owned it, and things have moved forward, but it's still there. It's still hung on what clients require. Okay, do you think it'll change? And if so, what will replace it?
The actual resume.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're going to be moving more towards, we're still going to have some form of document, but I think it's going to get leaner and leaner and leaner. And we're going to add additional supplementary material, or actually it'll be the other way around. The resume will be the supplementary material and all the other stuff will be the real presentation. So you're going to have more videos. You're going to have more visual, examples, more visual footage. And the resume will just be one piece of paper or a document or whatever. That'll just be more of a supplementary attachment, really.
So you're saying the CV would become a sort of a point of reference, if you like, almost doing what a reference does, if you like. Actually, let me just check that. That adds up.
Exactly.
The social platforms, the professional networking platforms, that all links up. So there's nothing here to worry about.
Yeah, because look how great video technology is. Who knows? We might end up setting up hologram videos or something, hologram interviews with people. I don't know. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah, mate, I wouldn't mind cracking on with a hologram interview.
Yeah, or virtual, put on the virtual glasses and who knows what the hell we're going to be doing and organizing for our clients. So I think it'll be less and less about the piece of paper and more about all the other stuff because it's so much more powerful to have someone face-to-face in real time with you. And the other piece of paper is just, something to substantiate what you're saying because you can't get much from a piece of paper, but you can get so much more from this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's lots of pros and cons to it. I've been toying around it for some time to see which way it's going because these things kind of rise to the surface and have little goes, but none of them are really stuck. So, for example, the video interview, that isn't for everybody. Yeah. No, it's wrong. CV writing is not for everybody, but there's a minimum standard people can complete it. Right? Right. Some people just don't like how they look, that they communicate, that they're missing their mojo on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So they revert back to what they know, what does work, and gets them actually in front of the person. And that is different when you can actually do a decent handshake with someone and you pick up all the other cues.
Yep, that's true too. It is very subjective, but I think the industry is going to be moving more and more to using all this tech because it's so efficient. And people are going to have to embrace it and say yes to a lot of it because it's just got to move further and further in that direction.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you were in pharmaceuticals before, sales?
Yes, pharmaceutical sales. Yep.
And how did you find the transition from sales into recruitment?
Well, it wasn't too hard because pharmaceutical sales actually is renowned for being very, very good in terms of giving you sales training. So we had incredible sales training as a pharmaceutical rep. We used to have teams of trainers that would train us regularly and do role plays and really drum objections and objection handling into everything we did. So it was more old school selling, but we were really, really drummed and drilled in terms of how to sell well. We weren't just thrown into the deep end. And so moving into this, obviously there were subtleties to get your head around because recruitment is a bit different, but fundamentally recruitment is a sales role. It's still a very much a sales role. So it just was a little bit of I've got a bit of bravado and I don't mind making cold calls and all that kind of stuff. And I love people. So it wasn't a terribly hard transition, but obviously, you learn and you grow along the way. But I put that down to the great training that I had as a pharmaceutical rep.
It's interesting you say that because, excuse me, I think I'm suffering a bit of man flu there. I also came from sales backgrounds and I love the intricacies of the sales training that you get elsewhere. And as you quite rightly said, having it drilled into you, you work for different organizations, you can triangulate and see actually that confirms this and validates that. And you pick up those life skills. In recruitment, you don't get too much sales training, you get lots of recruitment training.
Correct.
Okay? So that's a miss. So that would give people like you and I a bit of an unfair advantage initially. But what I have also seen, and it's one of those assumptions, where people have assumed that because someone's good at sales, they'll be good at recruitment. And yes, there's some meat to that. But it's not. That's not just it, because a lot of times in sales, you're dealing with a singular party, B2B, B2C. Okay. In recruitment, what I found is just pure salespeople. They're good at one side or the other. They'll be good at the clients or good at the candidates, but you need to conjoin it and preempt those other variables which are all over the shop, becomes lottery odds to put it all together. And that for me is where I think some salespeople have not worked when they've gone into recruitment because they haven't realised those extra complexities.
Yes, I agree with you. And you come up with a really good point, because the recruitment function, as it's evolved over the years, over the last 10 years, 15 years, my God, it's become more and more diverse. We have to add so many skills to what we did back in the day when we started. So as a recruiter, first and foremost these days, I'm very passionate about this, you have to be a marketer. Recruitment is more about marketing than it is sales even nowadays. Selling comes, at the end. But if you don't market, you got no one to sell to. So recruitment's become very, very much about marketing. It's become very, very much about sourcing and using technology and thinking outside the box and creating talent pools and all that kind of stuff. And then the sales is the latter part of the process. But you've got to do the work at the beginning to even get to that point.
You're absolutely right, because essentially, let's talk clients here, which would be businesses. When they say yes to us, okay, they're trusting us with their name, their brand, their business, and important components for their growth. So they have to be 100% on us. They must have seen our name, they've seen the trusted brand, heard good things.
Right. Exactly.
All before that phone call or email, whatever the medium is. So, I've heard of you guys. And
so you're all on social media. You've got people in my team have referred you, have mentioned your name, whatever. So it's so much more of a marketing game. And that's why I love what we're doing now. Like I love podcasting and all this kind of stuff because it's a marketing tool.
And you're quite right. Obviously, I've got selfless branding here. And everybody I spoke to, there has been one other recruiter I spoke to, but mostly it's not. And you're absolutely right. So the more people come here, they get to see the brand, they get to know us, they get to know the person behind us, we get to know other people. Other recruiters have asked me, why are you doing this? And there's a few whys, but in relation to what you're saying there, let's talk commercially. It's another reason for people to know who we are, what we do, see the human behind the brand. And it's like, what, when we need someone, let's try those guys.
100%. I mean, I love podcasting or, vlogging in a way, whatever you want to call this, as a marketing tool, because it's a nice piece of long form content that then you can chop up and repurpose and use in a million different ways to market yourself correctly so you can get in front of the right people to sell eventually. That's the whole strategy.
And that's just the thing. And it's interesting you say that as well, because a lot of time when I've spoke to marketeers and just marketers that maybe go and get you social media likes and build a community and all the rest of it, it has to convert somewhere as well. So you get the other side of it. It's all well and good that, you know, we look amazing, but if it's not transacting, it's white noise as well. So it needs to follow through. That momentum needs to transition from marketing into sales.
Definitely. It's a strategy. You know, this is a very strategic process. We don't just do this for fun because we want to get up on the King's birthday and just have a chat. When we're doing this, there's a strategy behind this. Yes. And, you know, if you're going to really be a serious marketer, you've got to be thinking about the whole process from A to Z.
Absolutely. All right. So we're on the same page. We're both doing the same thing. Absolutely. And that's how we're spending our King's birthday.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Love it.
So let's pull away from recruitment briefly, because I feel we could talk about that for quite some time. Sure, not careful, but I'm sure we've both got other plans as well.
Yeah.
Okay. You said before that you got some side hustles as well, and this bit intrigues me. So I classify myself as an entrepreneur. I had businesses before recruitment. I've got other businesses now. Okay, all those roads lead to Rome, in my opinion. But I've got I like those side hustles. I like it when people are having a little tinker with something around.
Yeah, me too.
Share what you can.
Yeah, you bet, man. So I've been a photographer for a good 10, 12 years.
Okay.
Just a part-time photographer. So I do a lot of events and private and public and corporate events. I do headshots. I do marketing and branding and all that kind of stuff. I'm a photography tutor. Okay. I kind of did photography years ago when I was at school and fell in love with it back in the day in the dark room with the film and all that stuff. And I picked it up again 12 so years ago when digital was really strong, and it just hooked me again. And so I do a lot of work in the photography space. So it's, I do a lot of that's weekend stuff and, the odd job here and there. And then of course the marketing and branding side have led me into podcasting. And so I do a lot of work as a podcast coach and a podcast trainer and teacher to a lot of people that want to put podcasts together. People that want to execute better on podcasts, how to think about how to use their podcast as a strategy for marketing and sales. So all that kind of stuff. So kind of like I bundle all that into multimedia. And I call that marketing and podcasting and photography. And that's kind of a bit of a side gig for me. But obviously my day-to-day is working in the recruitment space.
So I didn't know that you did the podcast training and what have you. And if I'd known that before, I would have put a little bit of effort into being a bit more professional.
Oh, you look great, man.
That's it. How are we going so far?
We're doing great. We're having fun, man. You're asking great questions and I'm having fun, and you're on brand and I love it.
What I do like about the photography component, obviously it's a hobby, but it's a purposeful hobby. So it's tangible and so you're going to enjoy it, you learn out of it.
Yeah.
It does also link into, excuse me, the recruitment again, in my opinion.
Yep.
Okay. Your key point earlier was headshots.
Yep.
And that's something people really do need to get right.
Oh yeah, don't get me started about headshots now. Oh my God.
Go for it, mate. Because it's
absolutely.
If done wrong, it hurts you every single time.
100%. You're a lot of the time. What is it? A picture tells 1,000 words.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, people will look at a picture and already make a judgment without even going any further. And if your picture is not optimized and not in line with who you are trying to show yourself to be, it can hurt you more than help you. Absolutely. So I'm a big believer in, if you're going to have some headshots done, do them right. Nowadays, there are lots of great AI tools that you can even use to help you put your own headshots together, and they're pretty good. But if you want to spend a bit of money, go to a photographer. That doesn't cost a lot, but do a proper headshot session, take a few changes of clothes, work with that photographer over an hour or so, and get some photos that are really going to show you as you want to show up. And it's only going to help your brand and not hurt you.
Yeah, and I think it's such a pivotal point, because I see it a lot with graduates, for example. They spend 2 to 3, 4 years, time, effort, money into their degree. They all get their same free CV from the careers advisor.
Yeah.
We all graduate at the same time with the same template, okay,
Yep.
and have sort of spent all this time and effort, but they won't take that extra step just to really open that door, you know. And a headshot is a component of that. Those
Big time.
small investments that pay off big time, and really wrap up all the other efforts that they've done.
Yep. You don't have to spend big money. You know, you can do a headshot session for $200-300, but just do it, spend that little bit of money and get some shots done properly. And then, of course, you can have some extra shots that you can now use in your marketing.
Yes.
So it's an extra follow on from just having a headshot. So do us a little marketing or branding session with a photographer, and you got your headshot sorted out, and you've got some marketing sorted out. And then AI and all the other tools that we have to these days can help you do whatever else with them.
Okay, so we were talking about CVs earlier. So just thinking if we've got people's interests on that earlier,
Yep.
What's your thoughts with a headshot on a CV?
Yeah, great one. I think it all boils down to exactly what we're saying. Is it a good headshot? If it's done right, I like it. But a lot of the time it's done terribly and it actually detracts from the CV. So I'd rather have not seen it. So I think if you do it well, just like anything, and you put it on there and the person's at the right angle, smiling, looking at the camera, dressed in the right gear, I say, great, this person's fantastic. I'm looking forward to meeting them. But if it's a disaster of a headshot, it already turns me off.
Yep. Is it? And I've actually had, and I can't mention the companies or anything, but I've had some conversation with some senior HR people. So you're talking, the multinationals, if you like. They are always wary of the headshot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not for the ones that it hasn't been done well, but for ones that it has been done well, believe it or not. So when someone's visually appealing, we don't think that there's an element that this can come back and bite them on the backside because that's influenced the hiring process.
That's right. That's where we get into the bias.
Yes.
Bias concepts now, absolutely. Yep.
Yes. I generally tell people to avoid it on the CV.
Yep.
For that reason, but your digital presence, your online presence, your personal brand, you have to have popping off the page everywhere you go, in sync.
Definitely. And 100%.
And as you said, we live in a digital world. Technology has changed how we recruit, how companies recruit, how we function, how we live, how we interact. So that all happens whilst we're doing other things.
Yeah.
Now, you and I are having a conversation. Our technology is doing something for us right now.
Yep.
We're sleeping. Someone somewhere we're on their radar.
Absolutely. We're popping up everywhere.
Yeah, it's a rainmaking activity. It generates opportunities for you.
Yep. So I think 100%, you have to be uniform in how you show up. You can't have your LinkedIn profile looking different to your resume, looking different to your website, looking different to your Facebook, whatever. Whatever you're going to show people in the professional realm, it's got to all be uniform so it all makes sense. Think of it as a marketing exercise, just like anything, a branding exercise.
Yeah, love it. All right, but listen, I'm being mindful a little bit of time there. I think anybody listening to this, there's been a whole suite of nuggets there, sandwiched into two recruiters reminiscing the old days of
the old days. That's right, of couriering CVs around the place.
But maybe to wrap this up, who should be reaching out to you and why, and also how should they be reaching out to you?
Yeah, great. Well, look, I'd be very happy for any job seekers in the realm of IT, support, infrastructure, cloud, managed services. That's kind of my bread and butter. Anyone that's looking for work, please reach out to me. Any clients that are potentially looking for talent in that area, always happy to talk. And you can find me on Saul Recruitment, so SAUL recruitment.com.au. And from there, you can link to everywhere. And then if anybody's interested in all my other stuff that I do, jump on my other website, which is Suspended Animation. So all one word, suspendedanimation.com.au, and you can jump on to everything from there.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to check out Suspended Animation myself. And if I like what I see, I'm going to book you back on.
You bet, man. You bet. Love it. But it's been really nice to be here. Really, really pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. It has been really good hearing your story, comparing notes. And I look forward to seeing what's next.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you did enjoy it, had lots of takeaways from it. As before, please subscribe below so you can keep on top of any new releases we have. And also, if you would like to have your story told, just reach out with me and I'd love to give you that platform. My best email address is tom@purplepatchconsulting.com. Thank you.